Vancouver Canucks traded for a guy.
A good
guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But they traded the first round pick that they got for Bo Horvat for the guy. It's noted Alan Walsh.
There it is.
Woo! Which we're always thrilled for. He's 25 years old. He's a good defenseman. And he's got another year left on his contract before becoming an RFA. But as of right now, the Canucks are over the salary cap for next year.
Which is completely mind-blowing.
It's a joke.
So this is the question. Apparently, by the way, Pittsburgh was in on JT Miller before they made their Nick Bonino trade.
Which I had heard.
And
people got
the
upset.
trade must have fallen apart. Here's what I heard of the reports out of Vancouver this morning, and this is the part that doesn't make sense to me, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Is Vancouver has the management group there has said, listen, we are not rebuilding.
Mm-hmm.
They've come out and they've said it. We're not rebuilding. We are retooling.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to me, when you retool, you have to have been good. Right? To me, a retool is we were good. We're going to do a quick turnaround like the St. Louis Blues are, and that you're going to retool and be good again. The Vancouver Canucks, you're retooling a car that was already unreliable. And you just signed JT Miller to this contract. Now you're trying to trade him. Now you're getting Filip. Vancouver fans really just don't know what to make of this. What's going on?
So, okay. A lot of Canucks fans have gotten nothing but negative over the last few days.
Mm-hmm.
Let me help you out.
Okay.
With a little bit of positive. Number one, you needed a guy really badly on the right side of your defense. You got him in Filip Hronek.
Mm-hmm.
Luke Shen was playing a lot with Quinn Hughes. Now, if you want, you can go Quinn Hughes, Filip Hronek, forever on that.
That's pretty great.
That's pretty great.
Like
or you
that.
could have Quinn Hughes on one pair, Hronek on the next, and all of a sudden you're moving the puck around really well, consistently. You don't have to wait for Quinn Hughes to do absolutely everything. So that's good. You address a need. That's good. What did it cost? Listen, let's focus on being in a good mood. All right?
I mean, that first round pick could have been pretty valuable.
Could have been pretty valuable. It might even be Filip Hronek. You know what I mean?
I see. But,
so there's the window in reality and there's the window in your mind. And they don't want to wait that long. Yep. So they pick a guy this year. Let's say it's, pick a number at random, 21st overall. How long until that guy is in your lineup and how long until he is an impactful player in your lineup? Now, here's the other good news potentially for the salary cap, because, again, they're over the salary cap, and that is wild. I took a look at Tyler Myers' contract. And with the Vancouver Canucks and with the trade deadline, Canucks fans aren't alone in this. There's a lot of fans thinking this way. You think that things have to get done now. They have to get done immediately. That's not true. They could be done at the draft, but for the Canucks, I think the salary cap gets solved after the draft. I think it gets solved after day one of free agency and day one of signing bonuses being handed out. Tyler Myers' contract for next season is $6 million total, $5 million of which is signing bonus. So if the Canucks really want to get out of cap hell, Francesco Aquilini is going to have to get out his pocketbook and make a decision he's probably not going to like, cut a $5 million check to Tyler Myers.
And trade him.
Trade him, and to who?
Arizona.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, okay.
But what's it going to cost you? You already got rid of the first.
Yeah.
The thing about the Canucks and the way they're going about their business is whether or not you agree with doing it, I understand it. I completely understand what they're trying to do here because they have very talented, high-end players who are in their mid-20s. Elias Pettersson is having an unreal year, and if Vancouver Canucks were good right now, that dude could be in the contention for the Hart Trophy.
And full season of Thatcher Demko.
A healthy Thatcher Demko.
But the next three players, guys, the next three players that are on that list are players they're hoping move today or at the draft. Brock Besser, JT Miller, and Connor Garland.
Yeah. No, but I'm talking like
they're trying to move them today.
But they also have like Quinn Hughes.
I know, but then what else? And then Hronek, I guess. But like,
the talent on this team keeps fooling me, year in and year out. They desperately need Thatcher Demko back and returning to form, but they also desperately need to get better on D. And with the Hronek deal, they at very least did that.
They do.
They at very least did that. They need to work on that Myers deal. I don't know how you do it, but unfortunately for Canucks fans, you're gonna have to wait for July.
Do you think anybody takes a flyer on Brock Besser? He's obviously had injuries, $6.65 million, guys. What do you think? Does he move today? They're trying.
Today, I just
Not
feel like
today.
it's possible.
Yeah.
But again, like the Canucks have so much money to move around. This feels like the sort of deal that could happen at the draft.
Mhm.
It could happen in July. Or consider this, and a lot of people forget this about the trade deadline. There is no trade deadline.
Yes.
It's just a deadline for
Playoff teams.
So any team tomorrow, the day after the trade deadline, can trade for Brock Besser. He's just not eligible to play in the playoffs. Well, what if you laid the groundwork for a deal that trades Brock Besser to a team that is not currently in a playoff spot? What if it's a team that's on its way up? What if it's a team like Detroit, who just loaded up on a bunch of assets? What if it's a team like Buffalo, who's sort of on the playoff bubble
But
outside?
they're 5-5 in the last 10.
I
They're
think you
looking
got
to get
away
there.
from something very smart that you were saying. You were saying that the Vancouver Canucks have a whole bunch of time to make these deals. They
Yes.
don't need to do this at the
No.
trade deadline or post trade deadline in the midseason to somebody who's not making the playoffs.
No.
They can make that Besser trade at the draft. They can do it post free agency, and I think that's what they're going to be doing. It's going to be a long retool for the Canucks because they have the benefit of time, because all these guys they want to move are locked up.
Canuck fans are looking at the two of you right now and going, "You idiots! Benefit of time." It's been a decade since this team has done anything. If I'm a Vancouver Canuck fan,
No, what?
and so for me as the fan, I'm like,
Yeah.
bro, you don't have the benefit of time. I'm going to lose my mind
It's been
over here.
10 months since this regime's been in their offices.
You're right.
They haven't had the time.
This is what Canucks fans have been saying to me since I kept saying, well, what's the next shoe to drop? We're looking at this logically. We're looking at this the way most teams look at this. The Vancouver Canucks don't operate like most teams. Most teams don't trade that Islanders pick. They don't even think about it. And again, I understand why you did it, and maybe Hronek wouldn't have been available.
That Islanders pick could have been anything. It could have been Hronek.
Could even
Well,
been
and
Hronek,
that's-
And
You got a very talented young player who can help you win with this a little bit of the core that you're trying to build.
But as was pointed out on the CJ show, unfortunately, he helps you win now.
Yeah, which
Unless he's out, because I believe he was injured in his last game as a Red Wing.
he was leaving with a sling.
Yeah, so, I wonder if that's one of those injury moves that gets scrutinized by Gary Bettman, like he was talking about, because that helps you win by losing.
Yeah, you don't want to win now because you want a higher draft pick, but the Canucks also want a nice young player because they want to win next year.
Well, with Demko coming back, I don't know if they're bad enough to like really contend with the truly crap teams, but like you're right there.
Yeah.
You're right there. I don't know. Keep sucking. I believe in you.
Okay, so we know also about JT Miller, okay?
Mhm.
JT Miller was supposed to maybe get traded to the Pittsburgh Penguins last night, and we're going to do a whole feature on Pittsburgh, but what happened?
Well, he was week to week and came back after a week. I think a deal fell through. What was the deal? I don't know, but I mean,
But you had heard something into the Penguins.
where there's, I heard they're trying to move Miller in the worst way. They are. There was smoke with the Penguins. I didn't hear a ton there, but I do know they were trying to get something done with Miller. I believe. I mean, two things can be true. He could have been injured and traded. I just, he came back on that John Cena timeline where, he's back in time for the Royal Rumble. They said he'd be out 8 months or whatever. He came back very quick. I think there was a deal in place. I think it fell through, and I think it was with Pittsburgh.
Breaking news, the Canucks have made a trade.
Oh, yeah.
Cutis Lazar is now a New Jersey Devil.
Oh, okay. What's
for
the
a
deal?
4th round pick in 2024. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no, I was going to say, did the Pittsburgh Penguins save themselves from themselves by not trading for JT Miller?
Well, I mean, the Penguins fans are going to lose their minds too. And in their,
Did they want him?
I mean, I think they want something. That's the problem. And we'll talk about that in our next video, which will be about the Penguins. Penguins fans are really frustrated with management at the moment.
Well, we talked about their cap situation for next year. Moving Lazar off the books clears $1 million for the rest of this season, next season, and the season after.
So there you go.
So there's some.
Cutis
good
Lazar
news.
has 5 points in 40.
Is this officially the Cutis Lazar trade video?
I think it is. That's going to be the big headline that gets people to watch.
Drew, is that That's
what
that's
we're
going to
gonna
be
do, right,
big
Drew?
for SEO, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Cutis
how it works.
Lazar trade video. 4th round pick. Let's go.
Yeah.
Penguins next on SDPN trade deadline.